Welcome back to MZBC, the podcast for August the 4th. Look at my phone. August the 4th, Thursday, 2022. We said we were going to do every Monday night, and I failed miserably this week on Monday. I don't think I failed on Monday. I think that I legitimately had something to do on Monday, but I think Tuesday I failed because I legitimately pushed it off to go play golf. And Mike said that the next time a nice fishing hole opens up and he cancels, I can't say anything. So if Mike's not here one week and I'm here, it's because I bailed on him on Tuesday, and he's going to bail on me one day. So it's all good, though. We didn't win the golf tournament, so if that makes you feel any better, God didn't honor my commitment to golf. He honored it more than my commitment to the podcast. So, but it's all good. Thank you guys for taking the time to download this and pull it up on YouTube and watch us each week. We appreciate it. Still looking for those comments of things that you guys want us to talk about. Me and Mike can ramble and talk all day, but it would be more, I think, beneficial for everyone involved if we had some directed questions. So if you have any of those things, I don't know what kind of questions, ask personal questions if you want to. We'll decide whether or not we answer them. So you can ask anything you want. And
just be cautious of the answer. Depends on what mood we'll be in.
That's right. That's right. If the golf round didn't go well, it'll be a little more honest. If it went well, I'll cut a little more slack. You can see the videos back in high def full screen tonight. We figured that out.
You figured that out.
I forgot, Mike. Like when I say that, when I say we
said you figured that out.
I figured that out. I don't know how I figured that out. I just clicked on something and it said resolution. I clicked it and there we are in full screen because that was driving me crazy. So it's been a good week at Mount Zion Baptist Church and in the life of Pastor Russell and Congregant Mike. What is your official title at Mount Zion? Member Mike.
Member Mike.
M&M, baby. But Mike,
I was a little sad, though. This past Sunday was my last day being with the guys in the class.
I was just going to say.
Unfortunately, my splitting headache had different plans than I did.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was bad. Hey, we were on the way here.
Yes,
and I figured because it may have been caffeine related.
Uh-huh.
So when we left, we stopped, and I got Red Bull, and I drank it. And usually caffeine headache, when you drink caffeine, it automatically almost goes away. It wasn't going away. Mm-mm. And it was like right through here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I feel it. Now, we're still sitting in the parking lot at the Chevron. He's like, you look like you're turning white. I was like, I feel like I'm about to, my stomach's not done. I said, I might need to get back to the house.
Yeah. She said you were not doing good, but she did say you tried to make it.
I did. We like I said, we were at the Chevron, and I was like, I said, I'm not going to make it. And this goes along with what I made the decision for Tuesday and why I picked this out tonight. When I got home, I sat on the couch. Mm-hmm. Nothing was on. The fan was on. And, of course, the cat see it. He goes, oh, he's sitting down.
Lay on him.
Let's go get on his stomach.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I'm kicked back on the recliner. My feet's up. And I'm laying there. And it feels like my eyeball about to pop out of my skull. And the cat wants to lay right on your stomach. Mm-hmm. So, cat went across the couch. And I'm kind of nodding in and out. And I was like, I think I'm going to go lay back in the bed. And so I got up and I went to the bed and I literally just laid on the bed. And here come the cat.
Likes you, man.
So, well, since you're in the bed. And I dozed in and out till about 10:30, 10:45. Mm-hmm. And man, when I woke up, I felt great. And that's when I turned the YouTube on in the living room, and I did watch your sermon. Yeah, I did watch that. But I kind of hated missing the
last Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday with the guys. I was like, I should have picked my words better. We're just postponing it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not an indefinite ending.
It's not shutting down. I mean, we started that class when there was a need to have a bunch of influence in men's lives, and now those guys have been consistent for several years. And like you said in the past, they could lead the class.
Yeah, they can take off.
They need to keep showing up, listening to you talk. So now it's time to go mingle with another class and see where some needs are and how we can, keep growing. So I love it. Mike will be joining a class where he's in with couples this week, him and Haley. So that would be good for not only them, but for Vance and Kathy leading that class. It's just it's going to be a good thing. It's been a need we've had for a long time, and I'm thankful that God supplied that need. So just a cool thing. This week has been a bunch of cool things happening. We got to go. It's first week of school, by the way. Everybody listening, I think y'all all know that because y'all are all probably a little tired, a little more groggy. Real working men like Mike have been getting up at 5 or 6 all summer, but pastors don't get up that early all summer because if I don't have to get up for my kids, then I'm more like a 8 o'clock kind of guy. By 8 o'clock, you've done 2 jobs.
Was it this week or No, it was last week. Wasn't it?
When you dropped your son off?
No, it was. I'm trying. You remember the story? You called me, and it's like 7:30. I was like,
"Well, my hot water heater broke.
You want something?" And I said, "You shouldn't even be awake right now."
It was 7:15.
Yeah, I was like, "What's wrong?"
Because Heather came to me in the bed where I was sleeping, and she said the hot water heater is leaking down the carport, and I was like, "And I'm not. I mean, okay." So I got up, saw it obviously was leaking, and called you and said, "Mike, can I fix it, or do we need a new one?" And you basically said, "Yes, she's done." And so, yeah, it was 7:15. I knew you would think something was wrong.
So yeah, something's going on. Now and I don't like it when you call somebody and they're like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "What?" But I knew 7:15 in the morning and your name comes up on my phone. I said, "Yeah, something's wrong."
Absolutely. And so this week we had to start getting back up. It's only Thursday, so I've only got up 4 days in a row, but it's rough, man. Just tired today. Yesterday I was real tired. I'm fine. I'm actually better today than I was yesterday. Last night for Bible study, I was just like, I felt like I was phoning it in, but I wasn't. I mean, we had a very good discussion. I'm glad that I'll say 2 things about Wednesday night Bible study. I'm sad that you're not back in there because
now I will give Haley props on this.
Uh-huh.
She asked me more often than not on Wednesdays. It's like, "Are we going to church tonight?"
And you're like, schoolwork or work.
Yeah, that, and I want to be here.
Yeah.
But
so I hate that you're not in there because the part of the reason I'm even in there is because you wanted to do it. Like partly like this podcast. Like Mike is my inspiration.
But I'm right here with you now.
I love this.
Here I am.
No, I love it. He's like the one that says we should keep doing this, and I'm the one that has to be talked into a lot of things. But so we started the Wednesday night thing, and then Mike went back to school.
How hard is it for somebody talking you into playing golf?
Oh, super easy. I know. I'm not saying no. Listen, I'm not saying I'm doing it right. I'm just saying that's what happens.
I get it though.
You could literally tell me right now we have 2 hours of daylight left. Let's go play golf, and I will drop everything and go. I'm ready, like at the drop of a hat. And other things you have to talk me into doing. I guess Wednesday night was a struggle just because we had been off from COVID for so long, and it was just hard getting back into that routine. And the other point I was going to make was I'm sad because you're not there, but I'm really glad that you inspired me to do it, us to do it, because the conversations are really good. Like they're so good. Not the conversation from the teacher. Like I'm trying to teach the way Mike, the vision that he had for it, where we just kind of throw the ideas out there and then we discuss.
See where they go.
Yeah, and it's been working really well. Last night we were talking about values and why values are important as a leader and what were Jesus's values and stuff like that. And it just sparked a really good conversation about love and selflessness and loving people that don't love you back and all these kind of things, which are exactly what we want people to learn. I mean, that's part of being a disciple. And so that was going really good. And so that was cool. So we've had really good things. School went back this week. We got to go to Mount Zion High School and serve, give out school supplies.
How'd all that go?
It went great, man. I told them in Bible study last night that anyone that says we need to get Jesus back into schools, that they just have pushed Jesus out of schools and all that kind of, they just haven't went and tried, because that school is wide open to anything we want to do. I know we're doing it the right way through FCA, where they're protected and all that, and we don't force our beliefs on anybody. So if you don't want to hear what we have to say, you don't have to listen. But you would be very surprised how many kids over there want to hear what you have to say. I was telling them last night that when I go over there, I don't see the despair and the just the negativity that maybe sometimes is portrayed through conversations or through the news or through social media. I just see a bunch of people that are looking for hope, that are looking for answers, and we have that answer. We're living, our lives are based on that same hope, and so it's just God has opened that door. We better run through it. because he's opened it, and so who knows what it's going to turn into, and it might not turn into anything while I'm here or while you're here, but just
the
like
seeds are planted.
Just like in my life, I went to FCA meetings when I was in high school playing baseball, strictly because they had Burger King biscuits, and you'd go get free food.
Or you got out of class for an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it didn't come to fruition until when I graduated in '95. I found Jesus Jesus found me again in 2004. So what is that?
Y'all run into, hey, haven't I met you before? It's like, I don't know.
I heard about you a couple times. And so that seed was planted way back there in high school, and then it came to reality in 2004. And so that's what I think about the high school over there. Like, we may never see the change in the students' lives or the teachers' lives or whatever, but it will happen one day if we just stay faithful. So that was cool. We had a really good group go over. They just let us set up in the cafeteria and pass out school supplies. So we even saw a couple of students that are members here at Mount Zion and got to hang out with them and kind of encourage them. One young lady, it's her first time in public school since 8th grade, and now she's a junior because she's been doing homeschool because of COVID and different things. So that was cool to see her and just kind of encourage her because she had to be nervous. It was her first day back in 3 years. And then another student that goes here. So it was just really good. So God showed out, and we got to go have breakfast together and just fellowship.
And that's when the body really puts action in the body, is you telling the kids there in some form or fashion, okay, Jesus is the answer. Okay, why is he the answer? Well, that's when the other team would come in and
absolutely
you start breaking it all down.
Yeah, that's what we were. The discussion was last night.
I hear it. Yeah, God's the answer. Why is he the answer?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. or the other way is like, I believe he's the answer, but how do I live it? Like, so we were trying to discuss last night. We said the number one value that Jesus has, we would say, is love. And so how do you put love into action? Like, what are ways that you really can put love into action? And that was one of those moments where we sent people over. There were probably 10 or 12 of us, maybe 10. And we just passed them out. We got to talk to students. We got to pray with teachers. Just a really good morning. And so that was cool. And then today I got to go to Mount Zion again and meet with the football team. And so that was really good. I did the 2 Timothy 1:7, and then I did the Be Strong and Courageous in Joshua. Mm-hmm. So, just trying to
encourage. It's like Joshua 1:5, somewhere around
9,
there. Yeah.
Be strong and courageous. And then 2 Timothy 1:7 was like, I didn't give you a spirit of fear or intimidity, but, one of
Now, when you talk to football players, is it easy to relate to them because you watch football?
It is, and because I play football.
You can mingle the gospel into football lingo.
Absolutely, and that's what I love about it. So I played football my whole life up until 9th grade, and I don't know if
your whole life up to 9th grade.
Yeah, I mean, from the time you can play, like. 7,
so you
8,
played for your whole life up to 9th grade, you started playing in 9th grade up till.
No, I played my whole childhood up until 9th grade.
You get what I'm saying there?
Yeah, it's not my whole life, but in 9th grade, that was my whole life when I quit. The problem with football was everyone else around me was getting bigger, and I was staying the same size, so I had to get out of there. I was going to get injured, so I went to the baseball field. But, yeah, it does definitely help to be in there because I know football. I watch it. You're right. I know all that, and so – I use Nick Saban quotes all the time. I'll use Kirby Smart quotes. I'll use any of those guys. These football players, they know all these people, And we always say we never change the message, that we change the method. And so, I'll go in there sometimes and just I'll use a football game that just happened this weekend, something that happened in an athlete's life, whatever, because those guys know what it is, and then I can spin it to the gospel, know. And so it's good. It's just I say thank God for it because there's some days I walk in there and I'm like, God, I have no idea what I'm going to say to these kids. I want to say this, but I don't know what's going to happen. And so I'll just start talking, and then it comes out and it relates and connects. And it's just a really good thing God does, and I like to be a part of it. I wish other people could see it and be a part of it. I understand the time constraints, but it's just a huge blessing to see the hope, like you can see in their eyes, man. These kids want to be successful, and they want to experience life like I've experienced it and see the goodness in God. They just don't always have someone around them to teach them and show them, and so that's what God puts us there for. And Mount Zion is a super blessed place where people give to that cause. People will give financially, people will give food, people will give all these things, and it allows us to go over there and just look like we're doing cool things, and it's really just the whole body.
And with that comment, it's not easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to disagree with that one because most of those kids probably have a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they look up stuff so they can look up the gospel.
It's easily accessible. I guess they don't have people
now,
pointing them
they
to
may
that.
not have a direction or how to understand it.
Yeah.
I get that.
Right.
But easily accessible? No.
Yeah.
I don't
there's
really agree with that
It's
one.
easily accessible. I guess they just don't know to look for it.
Yeah.
You know, what they're living in. That's what I was telling them today. Like, I'm sure they see me as a pastor that has it all together. I'm sure they think I have it all together. I'm sure they think I'm rich. I'm sure they think I don't have a struggle in the world, and I've always been like this. I tried to be really real with them today and tell them about my life growing up, and everything wasn't always perfect, but God always was, and I didn't even know God then, but he was still working and doing things, and so it was cool. And I think other than just the students, it's the coaches, because they all stay in there, which is encouraging, because I've been to places before where the coaches will say, hey, talk to the guys, they need to hear what you have to say, and they'll walk off.
Yeah. I'm going to go outside and have a smoke.
And you're like, dude, you need it just as much as they need it.
It's like, you're the leader of the kids. You need to stay in here, too.
It looks like this coaching staff that Mount Zion got, it's brand new. It looks like they're all going to be bought into this FCA model. And
it would kind of like being, you send your kids to school and you let the teachers do all the teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, the parents have to do the teaching, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't help with the homework, your kids' grades are lacking. So that was good. I can say that Coach Willie Binyard, Binyard, if you want to add him to your prayer list out there. He's a brand new coach at Mount Zion. He's coached as an assistant coach at other places, but this is his first, I think, high school head coaching job. He's a Christian, born-again believer, loves God, loves Jesus, and wants his boys to know that. And so it's a great relationship. I think it's going to start out to be. And so that was all good. Got to go hang out with a church member today that's just struggling with some things, and I'm just trying to be comforter, yeah, but also just like I'm trying to absorb anything I can from him, because he's one of those men that is just wise and man just knows Jesus really, really well and has lived for him for a long time. And so any kind of words of wisdom he can give me as I'm leading, I just try to listen and talk less, listen more. I told him at the football thing today, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. So I think God knew you needed to listen twice as much as you talked. And so I'm trying to do that with that situation. But other than that, almost burned on a lawnmower last week. I think we might have, I don't know if we talked about that. It might have happened.
Is it still out there?
It's still sitting there, yeah.
Well.
Lawnmower caught on fire with me on it, and I ran like a scared child. But it didn't burn me any, and I got my phone before it melted, and so that was good. And,
yeah, you went back into the flame. I heard that story. I went back in the flame to get my phone.
I did. I wish I could show you the photos. They were pretty good. But we have to buy a new lawnmower now, so that's the worst thing that's happened. We had to buy a new lawnmower at church, which those are a little expensive. But we think God has already provided an answer to that too. So just really,
God's very good about taking his time.
Mm-hmm.
He can take as long as he needs for that lawnmower shows up.
I know, because that's honest, because in the last 2 weeks we haven't had one. Other people have came with theirs from their house and have done so much. I'm like, man, just keep this up for a while and we'll never have to cut the grass. That's awesome. But I think we'll have to cut some tomorrow. But summer's almost over. A couple more.
You think it is?
6 to 8 weeks, right? That's almost over. I think summer lasts longer in Georgia. But other than that, what's going on with you? I mean, other life, school started.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go do the stuff at Mount Zion.
Yep.
Bible study was good. We're just rocking and rolling here.
Yeah.
I think everything.
I do want to come back on Wednesdays, though.
Yeah.
Last
night, I don't know the number, but I'm telling you, they keep having to pull chairs out of these rooms and bring them out.
It's awesome, isn't it?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's great, and it's not the same people every week, but it is the same people plus a couple of more here and there, and so. They mix and match really well. And last night there were like conversations going from 20-year-olds that just graduated high school, 21, 22, to like 65-year-olds that have been doing it for a long time and kind of conversing back and forth.
Was Bill here?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's faithful, man. Mr. Bill is a faithful dude. And so he had his dad jokes going for sure.
Yeah.
Dad jokes going for sure. We went to Cracker Barrel yesterday after we served after we brought the school supplies, and he had pulled up his website, so we got about 10 dad jokes while we're sitting there.
There's a website with dad jokes on it?
Absolutely. And I didn't know about it.
See what I'm saying? You can look up anything.
I didn't know about it. Yeah, you're right. There's access to everything.
There you go.
Because I was like, do you get an email every day with a new joke? And he was like, actually, yeah. So he does. But that was funny. So what's on your mind, bro? I came in and said, what are you going to talk about? And you said, saying no.
Well, to get back to my story about Sunday,
Yeah. Oh, you're about to die and then you were healed.
I don't think I was about to die, but I've been really sick, and that wasn't one of the times I would have chose death. Now, I got food poisoning before, and I was like, I think I'd just prefer to die.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody out there in Cyberland has had it, but
I haven't had that, but I've had motion sickness on a deep-sea fishing boat, and I felt like I just would rather die right now. It's so hot out there. And
he was like, you're turning green. I said, I feel like I'm about to die. I said, if it's what death feels like, I think I'm just going to skip over this part.
Yeah, for real.
But Monday, I had planned to take Monday off, mainly just I'm overwhelmed at work. And I think last week I said, there's days with my phone, 30, 40 phone calls in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the text messages and emails. And I was like, this is too much, getting to me. And Haley thinks Sunday may have been stress that caused it.
Oh, yeah.
Because after I rested,
mm-hmm.
I felt fine. I mean, my head wasn't even sore.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I already decided to take Monday off. I said, I'm going to go fish. Well, I went to a little private lake, and I put in the water. By the time I got there and dragged the kayak down to the water, it was about 7:45 or 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I put in, and before I even left the house, I had text messages on my phone. I was like, nope, not today. Put in the water, phone ring, phone ring, phone ring. I mean, I couldn't even enjoy it. And that's like, if you like golf,
mm-hmm.
I like to fish, I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even escape it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, then Levi got an ant bite Sunday here, and his foot swelled up.
Mm-hmm.
So Haley had to take him to the doctor, so she's calling me and telling me about that. And it's at 10:30. I'm done. I'm not even. I just left. And then we had to do run around for the school stuff, like you said, on Monday, and I was like, I'm about to lose my mind.
I'm kind of glad we didn't record Monday night. You might have kept been.
I was like, man, I'll come in here with a shotgun or something. I was like, it's what I think. Boom! Start sending shells through the roof. I mean, I wasn't ill. It's just, I wasn't me. And then, so Sunday I couldn't sleep. Monday I couldn't sleep. I mean, I literally could not sleep at all Monday. I'm thinking of jobs that I've had for 4 or 5 months. I was like, if it's going to bother me this much, I said, I'll put a stop to this crap. Mm-hmm. I'll walk away from it. So Tuesday I got up. Here we go again. This ring. I can't get anything done because the phone won't stop ringing. I'm grateful that it's ringing. Don't misunderstand that. But there is a point where it's too much. Mm-hmm. And so I made a decision that day. I said, I'm not taking on any more work. But I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start and finish the work I've already got. And I've got about 6 weeks of work. I'll be fine. And customers are texting. I'm like, take it to the shop. I said, I'm overwhelmed. I can't take on any more. And hey, can you look at my lift gate? No, I can't. And I'll explain to them. I'm just not turning them down. I was like, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I said, I can't take on any more work. I want it, but I can't handle it. And I'm telling them, I'm like, it's keeping me up. It's going to affect my health. I said, I'm out. And then I've started getting better at explaining it. Like today, a really good customer called.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Hey, you don't have to go look for work." I said, "I'm not looking for work. I'm looking to get away from it." And that's when I said, I'm just going to start a new diet. He said, "No, that's good." I said, "I'm going to lower my work intake." And now I will ask them what the job is, because if it's like a 30-minute job or hour job, I'll come out there and try to get you up and running so I can get going. But some of these jobs I have, they're 2 and 3 days long. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" You know, they think I'm done. I was like, "No, I'm not done. I got to slow down on taking work in, because I've got to get caught up. I've got one job I know from last year I hadn't even done yet." You know, and of course priorities is keeping stuff running, keeping the trucks on the road, keeping the generators running, keeping the lift gates working. And when your customer base is, 50 times bigger than you are, mm-hmm. that's every day. And they're like, "Well, what about this job?" I'm like, "Bring it to the house." I'll say, "I'll work on it next week." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Man, I did a job today at the airport. It took me 3 months to get back to it."
Wow.
And so I'm like, I'm done. I'm out on this. They're like this. I was like, "Hey, you know what? Call somebody else. I'm out."
Well, I think, like you said when you came in, I think there's a lot of times that Jesus said no too. Like that was the thing, right? It's okay to say no.
So I looked up, just and I couldn't really pinpoint where he just said no.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing where he took his time mm-hmm. was when Lazarus died. Mm-hmm. We just went over it, and he was in Bethsaida or somewhere, and he got word, "Hey, Lazarus, the guy you love, is dead." He goes, "All right." And he said he stayed there 2 or 3 more days. Yeah. I'll get there. But this one I looked up. This is Mark 14:23. And this is right after the massive feeding of the people. Chapter 14, it starts off, John the Baptist is beheaded. Then he did the miracle of feeding 5,000, which they averaged, it could be anywhere from 12 to 15,000 with the women and children. And then 22 picks up, verse 22, it says, "Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side."
You said Mark. You mean Matthew? Matthew. Gotcha. Keep going.
Yeah, Matthew 14.
I'm tracking.
While he dismissed the crowds, and 23 is where I want to get. After dismissing the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. Mm-hmm. It's like even Jesus ran off to the woods, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay to take a break.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's we always see when Jesus does this. There's other places. If I'd have known this is what you were looking at, I would have tried to find some of those places. But there are a couple of different places in Scripture where he did that. Like if mm-hmm. something big was about to happen that he knew was going down, whether it was towards the end or in the middle when he was doing all the miracles and all these things. Anytime something big was going down, he went away. And like it was just him and God. Mm-hmm. And, making sure he was in tune with what God wanted him to do. Because like...
He's probably over saying, "Are you sure you want to save these people?"
Yeah, no one's around. Like,
I mean, you could make more. It's very simple.
Just between you and me, do you really want to go through with this?
God's like, well, I was like, just think about it get back to me. You don't have to answer me right now.
You don't want to answer in front of in case someone hears? Yeah. Just like call me up later.
Text me.
Tell me later. Yeah, because Jesus, in this part of Matthew, I mean, this is right in the middle of Sermon on the Mount, right? Like it's right towards, maybe closer to the end. But, I mean, he's been rocking through this time. I mean, Jesus has mm-hmm. just been crushing all these different teachings that they thought they knew. He's telling them all these parables.
Sermon on the Mount was in chapter 5 there.
It starts way back there, but it doesn't carry on for a long time. Like,
well, in 13, he's telling parables, so he's teaching.
Yeah, so he's just like teaching.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's like, I got to just step away from.
But it's not just pointless teaching. Yeah. It's not to fill time.
Oh yeah.
He's
changing the world right here in these scriptures through here. to just way different than things they had ever heard before. And and in this moment, he was like, I got to just get away to make sure
Then I just thought of
that I'm hearing God clearly.
another one. I'm not gonna go to Psalm 23. We're pretty good with that one. I think it's Psalm 46:10. Yeah. Stop your fighting and know that I am God. Exalt among the nations, exalted on the earth. What was the other one I'm thinking of? It says, peace, be still. Just be still and know I'm God.
Well, that was it. The scripture, the 46:10 in this version does say, be still and know that I am God.
Okay.
I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted.
So I was right. That Holman just has it worded different.
Scripture, yeah. But that's it. Yeah, be still and know that I'm God.
Yep.
That's hard to do, though. Sometimes. I mean,
once you're so worked up and you're just going and your focus is blurred.
Yeah, for sure.
Your anxiety is just, and you really don't know you're eating up with anxiety. You're stressed out until somebody says, you're stressing out.
Like, chill out, dude. And usually in my life, I know that
you need to eat a Snickers. You know what I'm saying?
Getting angry over there. In my life, it's usually my wife or kids that will perceive my anxious moments before anyone else does. I'm better. I don't know if you're the same way, but I'm better at faking it in front of people than I am around my family. And so they can tell when I'm stressed or when something's going on, and they'll always be like, "You okay? Like what happened today? Like or whatever."
Did you miss a shot?
Yeah. No. Hey, if I got mad about missing golf shots, I would stay angry.
They come over and pat you on the head.
I would stay angry. To me, golf is two things. One, I want to get better, but that's not happening. And so I'm just kind of happy with where I'm at, mediocre golfer. Two, it's like I like the nature aspect of it, just being out. I don't, it's not fishing or on the water or hunting or whatever.
Don't say being out in the woods.
But it's what?
You're not about to say being out in the woods.
No, it's not like being out in the woods. It's more like being out on a nice green meadow. Just like experiencing God's
lay down in green pastures.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, because, there's lakes, there's water, there's streams, there's animals. That's what I love about golf. And then I think the people are the third part that I love about golf. Because I think that I've grown closer to Vance and Rico in the past year, playing golf every other week or so. Than we probably have ever in our life. And so it's just one of those things God uses. We have a common bond in that, and we can go out there and let our guard down, I guess you could say, and not have to be Pastor Russell or Deacon and all these things, and just be people and play golf and hang out. So that's fun too. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yep, just time to rest.
Time to rest. Oh. And sometimes I go to play golf, and I'm more stressed when I leave than when I got there.
Because you missed the shot.
But I think that was part of my thought process the last couple of weeks. I've been saying, manage your expectations and take the small victories when they come. Because if you keep grinding, trying to get the big victory, you'll burn out at some point. Because it's all the little things that happen up until the point of the big one that really make the big one what it is. What I'm kind of experienced in the past is the big one is never as good as all the little ones individually. As we're, for instance, if we're planning an event or we have something coming up, all the planning and the working together with one another and enlisting volunteers and doing all that stuff are small victories along the way. Now, the night that the actual event happens, you've thought about that event, you've planned that event, you've seen it in your mind so many times that by the time the event actually happens, you're almost done with even thinking about that. And so it's really all the small victories that lead up into that point that I'm trying to learn how to embrace. Because, I'm with you, dude. Those sleepless nights are hard. And sometimes I feel like I don't even have anything on my mind, God. Like, I'm not stressed about anything. I'm not anxious about work. I'm not, like, what do you have me up for? And so then I just start praying, like, okay, you gotta show me, like, and I guess there's been times where God has said certain things I don't know if God speaks to me that way, but I have felt God's presence push me in certain directions. Hence, some relationships that I've tried to work on restoring in the last couple of weeks, some hard conversations that I've had to have in the last few weeks, and some easy conversations that I've had to have too that just I wasn't planning on calling that person, but for whatever reason, God brought them to my mind, and I did, and it worked out, and it was all good. So
I got that one call. It's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm out here working. Lawnmower just burnt the ground. You all right? Yep. Cool.
Well,
send me a picture.
Yeah. That was so wild because in the moment I didn't even think about death. Like Heather was like, you could have like really been burned. Like if that gas tank would have exploded and hit you from the back, you wouldn't even have known it until it did it.
You may have lost your hair.
Yeah. That was not. Speaking of my hair, my wife was looking at my hair last night and she's like, you're lucky you don't have hair. If you did, it would all be gray. Thank you for that. I appreciate you're always uplifting. Appreciate it. But yeah, I didn't think about death that day. I should have. I think I should have been more scared. But that fireman, when he got here, he was not afraid at all. I guess he.
Yeah, I think the story didn't come out right. You said he walked up there, the fire extinguisher or something didn't work.
Right.
That's the part that didn't come through because I kind of pieced it together. He's like, he walked over there just calm and hit it, and then he got mad and he threw it.
Yeah, so he walks over there, just Mr.
I was
Joe
like,
Cool.
Well, why did he throw it?
He was mad. That's what I'm saying. So he walks down and he leaves like two other firemen on the truck, and he must have been like the captain. So he walks over with a fire extinguisher and he goes to the lawnmower and he goes to spray it. Nothing comes out. And so angrily, he like just turns in a circle and throws it over the fence towards where the fire truck was parked. And then he told one of the other firemen, like, get down here or whatever. And then he yelled at him.
Politely.
After they got done, he was saying, like, next time we need to go out, you need to make sure the fire extinguisher works. We need to make sure we have this. We need to make sure we have... I'm like, you don't do that already? Like, you're going to put out a fire. You don't make sure the fire extinguisher works? That doesn't make my confidence in the fire department go up. But they handled it in like 4 minutes. From the time I called to the time it was out, 4 to 6 minutes. And so that was good. Shout out Clayton County
I'm
Fire
sure if it
Department
was a different situation than a lawnmower on fire,
yeah,
they'd probably been a few more guys.
They were
on
not
it.
paranoid. They were just like, well, look, it's in the middle of a softball field. There was nothing going to burn down. They were just kind of.
Like, who was on it? That dude?
Yep. And he said.
Nobody was on it.
The guy said, like, I can tell you this for a fact. I've never put out a lawnmower with a bucket truck before or a ladder truck. He's like, but that was kind of cool. So I've never seen that before, so I thought it was kind of neat also. But yeah, we all need rest. I probably needed rest that day. Probably shouldn't have been on a lawnmower. We just need rest because it just realigns us with Jesus. We get away from all the busyness. We go back to what we're originally doing.
You will lose your focus quickly.
Absolutely.
If you're not careful.
Yeah.
Probably if I wasn't reading and studying, I probably would have been a lot worse off. I probably would have been further gone than I should have, and just like and I felt fine making that call because I was pretty sure that was called to be made, and it went. And the more people I started telling, the better I started to feel. Mm-hmm. And I tried to let them know. I was like, look, I'll do it, but it's going to be a while before I get there. Mm-hmm. I said, I'll take care of all of it, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Yeah.
I said, it's break time.
Absolutely.
I said, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to get all these jobs done. It's just piled up and piled up and piled up. I said, I'm going to start chipping away at this list. Mm-hmm. I said, when I feel like I've got the load that I can handle, I'll start taking more and more work.
Mm-hmm. Being out there working in the real world, what kind of sense do you get as people's feelings towards COVID? Is it starting to amp back? I'm not around many people that aren't just around here, so are people being more aware? Are they getting more
From
fearful?
The people that I talk to, and since you mentioned it, I'll run into people every now and then that still wear a mask, but it's so common now, you really don't pay much mind to it.
Right.
But nobody's talking about it.
No, I agree. I don't sense it much around me. I'm just glad.
Now, I did talk to one guy. He said, yeah, there's another shutdown coming, and there's a new strand of COVID and this and that. I was like, rock on.
Keep that over there. Yeah, I think it's just going to be
like we couldn't stop the first one. We're not going to stop the 8th one.
Yeah, but we went to the school the other day. We were concerned that they were going to make us mask up and do all that kind of stuff, but they never said anything. I think it was just kind of, some people still wear them, and if you do, God bless you, keep rocking it if it makes you feel better. I don't wear one, but I just hope it doesn't cause issues again. I know there was some.
Because I tell you this, you won't be wearing no mask when it's 100 degrees outside working on a truck.
No, you will not. You
will die.
Yeah, at least you're by yourself, so you won't be breathing on anyone. But yeah, I think it's always good to go take a rest, man. Go chill out. Get your mind refocused. I think any great leader probably needs to do that to have a healthy thing. You know, it rejuvenates you, like you say. I know some pastors take like a Sabbath. Not a Sabbath, a sabbatical. A sabbatical for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worked long enough to do that. I don't think I'm not there, but having a month off would be kind of cool. I think. I mean,
we had about 3 speakers in a row here.
Yeah, well, I've spoke 3 weeks in a row. I mean, you're acting like it was like 2 in a row. It's 2 out of the last 5. I mean, cut me some slack.
Had a good ratio.
40%. I mean, I'm still 60%. I like having guest speakers. I like hearing other people's perspectives.
Now we're pretty straightforward, and we're very willing to let somebody step up from time to time to give us a break.
Absolutely. If anyone wants to speak, Benjamin wants to speak. He told me the other day.
That'd be interesting.
He's like, I'm working on my English to present it to the congregation, and I'm like, dude, tell me when you want to do it. I'm down with it. So we're gonna try. I told him we'll try to work it out and see how to speak.
I would let him do a Wednesday.
He already does Wednesday though for the Hispanic class upstairs. So
but that's not down here.
That's true. Maybe come do that first, and we'll break it in that way. But I know one thing: he loves Jesus, and the dude will tell anybody that wants to listen about Jesus. Now, whether or not you can keep up with how fast he talks, that may be the only problem. He's kind of like me when he gets going. I mean, he gets going, and the words just flow.
So you understand me?
No.
Nope.
I heard Jesus, and I'm going to agree with you. So amen.
I heard Jesus and taco. That's all I heard.
Amen.
And amen.
There's no doubt Benjamin's called to be some type of minister, pastor, something. Just the way he loves and cares.
He's ball of energy too.
Man, he is. He'll do anything.
His kid's gonna have trouble keeping up with him.
Oh, I can't imagine. I know I was telling someone the other day. I can't imagine Benjamin's son. He is gonna be wild because Benjamin's wild, and they're gonna be like kids together. I feel bad for Jareli.
She goes like, "What have I done?"
Try to keep both of them in line.
What have I done?
But what a cool dad he's gonna be, and that'll be pretty awesome. And so,
but you were talking about spreading the word, and the other day a customer called, and that's my customer from South Georgia, and I'm kind of thinking that he wants to talk about the gospel, as I told him, I said. Yeah, when I come down, I said, it's going to be on a Saturday. I said, I don't know if it's going to be this Saturday or the following. And he goes, well, if you come this Saturday, I'm not going to be here. I said, okay. He said, make it if you, he wasn't telling me which day to come. He said, this Saturday I won't be here, but I will be here the following Saturday. I said, well, cool. I said, maybe we can, actually see each other this time, because the last time we went, he was there, but he was kind of at his house, and I thought it was going to be a lot quicker than what it was. He said, but if you do come down that day, he said, I'm going to work on the truck, get it back up and running is the plan. He said, and then maybe we can just talk. I was like, oh, we can talk. So I just kind of took that as
sounds like a door opening.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll talk. He's the same guy that texted me about the podcast thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I feel like
I hope I interpreted that right.
Yeah.
If when he listens to this, he goes, no, that guy's wrong. I was like, well, we're going to find out.
I think God's been opening a lot of doors lately. That's why I think he just pushed me to tell people, like, look, when God opens the door, just run through it. Just go, because he's
so what
promised.
Do I do? Walk through it?
You walk through it, man. You will figure it out.
So what if they don't like it? It's like, what if they don't?
What if they don't?
But what if they do? You won't know until you go through it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to hear that or tell me more. That's what you're going to get.
That's exactly what you're going to get. And either way, no matter what their answer is, if you were faithful and did what you were supposed to do, that's all God's looking for. I mean, God knows what's happening with them. God knows if you're the waterer, the planter, or the one that's going to harvest it. And
you did make a comment last Sunday. You were talking about faith. I can't remember where you were, though. But you were talking about faith, and then you said, look, you're going to fail, so just get over it. I was like, it's like he's been hanging out with me. I told Haley that. And she answered the question.
She did, yeah.
I was like,
I could not come
I
up with-
texted her when you done that.
Yeah.
It's like they're leveling. It's grading from the nurse. I texted her. I was like, you get a point.
Yeah, that's what she said. I could not come up with that word.
And then you're like, look, you're gonna fail, so just get over it.
Yeah, you are. That's what I told
Yeah,
her.
that's like, yeah, there you go.
It's so much easier, and there's so much more freedom in accepting that you are going to fail. And even in the failure, God doesn't give up on you. That is so.
Like, just because you fail, don't mean He's gonna give up on you.
Right.
Yeah, he still loves you the same.
It's the scripture that we talked about that Paul was saying that in my weakness, God is made.
It's Philippians, isn't it?
We were just going over it.
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah, but he said in my weakness, God is even made stronger. So he said, I'll boast even more in my weakness if it shows the power of. It's paraphrasing, but if it shows God's power, then I'll talk about how weak I am all day. And so when I talk about my failures, I'm not bragging like, oh yeah, look, I failed, but I am saying, look, I failed, and God is still faithful in using me, and so He can use you too. And so it's a huge encouragement for me and a freedom when I can just admit I don't have to be victorious every time, and I don't have to win everything. It really is a win that I'm just trying, if we think about it, and God is honored through it, and He'll work out all that stuff. I think that's where we get caught up sometimes.
I think if you have received salvation through grace, what more do you need? Mm-hmm. What more victory do you need than that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
And people are like, "Well, I need to do." Are you saved? Yeah. What other victory do you need?
Mm-hmm. I guess we set the bar, I think, more than what Jesus wants us to do sometimes. So He just wants our faithfulness, and we think what He wants is numbers, and we got to share our testimony this many times or whatever. I don't know. But I think what He's really just looking for is for us to be faithful and to really, like we said last night, Jesus said the two greatest commandments: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. The second one's like it: love your neighbor like yourself. If you can just do those things.
And see, He didn't put attempt to love your neighbor. Yeah. He said love it. It's like, wow.
And you know what I learned last night in class was we have some really cool neighbors I wish I was neighbors with some of our people, because they were talking about, oh yeah, I bake my neighbors this, I bring stuff over there for that, I do lawn care for them, and I'm like, my neighbors don't do that. I wish I was y'all's neighbors.
My neighbor beats on the hood of their car
before they crank it in the morning.
He takes off the road.
But then I had to take it back because I was like, well, I guess I've never done that for my neighbors either.
You're a neighbor.
I should be a better neighbor. I know. I really am trying to be a better neighbor. The lady next door, I always try to blow off her driveway. I do my yard. This other lady, I try to speak to her. The young kid across the street, like poor guy.
I got a story about that.
Okay, the poor guy, I feel like when he goes to work, his mom leaves the house and he gets locked out of the house or something. So he's always using my plug on my carport to charge his phone, which I'm fine with. But it's like, I don't know, it's just a weird dynamic. But I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. He's not hurting anything. He's a young kid. He's 18 years old. Trying to be kind, and hopefully through my kindness, he'll be like, why is this guy so kind? Didn't even know me. And I can say, it's Jesus, dude. I don't care anything about you.
Ironically, that's probably the guy that showed up. I picked up Levi from your house.
It was. That's exactly who it was.
Last week or sometime, I went over there and picked him up.
Yeah.
And knocked on the door, and Olivia comes like, well, he's in the bathroom. So, okay, well, I'll just hang out here. And guy comes walking up the driveway. I was like,
he's supposed to be here?
Who's this guy?
I know.
I don't know who he is.
I know.
And it's the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Olivia left the door open. And I looked into your room there, and I was just looking at the water heater that you guys put in. And so I walked the truck, and I'm like, the door's open to the house. I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
So I walked back up to the door to get between the door and him.
Yeah.
Again, it was nothing personal. It's like, I don't know this guy. Yeah. And he goes, hey, can I use the outlet to plug my phone up? And he had his phone with the cord hooked to it. And I was like, I said, I don't even know where outlet is, man. And then, so I'm standing there between the door and him. He was fine. And I guess it's just a instinct thing that kicked in. It's just safety. I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And finally, Olivia come out with a Levi. He's like, "Hey, can I use the outlet plug?" Oh yeah, sure. One right there in the room. I was like, "All right." The way she acted, I was like, "Okay, I'm good."
He's just a young kid that's trying to figure out life. I don't know if I told you, but a while back he had a girlfriend that they were not getting along, and I saw him walking down the road one day, and I was like, "Hey, I know you don't know me from Adam, but can I just help you? Like, that girl, get away from her, dude." Like, I see y'all fighting. I said, there was a time in my life in high school where relationships I had were not so great, and I thought they were, like, going to ruin my world if I didn't work them out. And I was like, it didn't. I was like, so I promise there's more out there. Ever since then, we've been kind of like, he'll talk to me every now and then and different things. So it's one of those things where I may never see the fruit of investing in that kid because he does have a rough life. Like, I think that they just have stuff go on I won't say that, well, I guess that I haven't experienced. And so I don't know when he'll get it, but one day he's going to remember that neighbor, me, that didn't know him from anything, but would let him use my plug. And, every now and then I'll see him walking down the street and I'll be like, you need some cash, whatever. I was just, trying to help the kid out, man. He's 18, dude. I'm like, when I was 18.
Why don't you let him cut your grass in Bain?
No, bro, I don't trust anybody to cut my grass. No way. It's got to be lined. It's got to be edged. It's got to be looking nice. So you saw my yard. I try to take pride in my yard.
You need to kind of.
I barely let my son cut my grass because he goes kind of.
You got your flowers around the mailbox is growing a little bit, and it's hard to turn without running over in the service truck because it's like either the flowers or the phone pole.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I said one of the two is going to get it. But speaking of that same day when I got in the truck, Heather was waiting for me to get out of the driveway, so she was right there.
Gotcha.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
A lot going on right there for a moment, didn't we? We had neighbors come over. You were there. Heather was there, and no one's ever at our house. So, but yeah, trying to be that good neighbor. And I was talking last night, being that good neighbor, even on the days where you don't like yourself, like when you don't even like the way I've had a bad attitude lately, or I've been this lately, so I don't even want to be around me. Even looking past that and loving other people, because you never know when that one thing you do is going to be that one thing that someone needs to point them towards Jesus. And so that's the goal. I just hope through all these things that somehow people see Jesus through all my chaos.
I went down to Fayetteville to work last week sometime,
mm-hmm.
and I pulled up, and the guy that met me there goes, "What you think, Mike?" I said, if it wasn't so hot down there, I'd tell these people where to go, and I'd go home. I said, that's just the mood I'm in right now.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to say that because I don't want anybody to go there. But
what do they say? It just be like that sometimes. That's just what it is.
So what do you think? It's like, really? I said, you asked. So what's on my mind right now?
So,
now where's the truck?
Yeah, seriously.
So there you go. We have them. Hey,
me and Mike are going to try to say no to more things. We're going to say yes to the things that God tells us to say yes to. We're going to love people on the days even when we don't love ourselves. We're going to just keep trying to do it. And
we get overwhelmed.
And I told everybody, you said Sunday, and we're going to fail. Like
we're going to fail.
I'm going to let somebody down. Mike's going to let somebody down, and we're going to say something wrong. We're going to do whatever. And the whole time, God already knows that, and God loves us just as much before we messed up whatever we messed up as he did before we did it, and after we do it and all those things. And so
I'll end. If we're going to end, I got a funny phone call.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all I got for today. And so Mike will wrap us up here, but we appreciate it. Like, share, and all those good things, and we'll catch up with you guys next Monday.
So this guy calls. I don't know who he is. He called. I was like, "This is Mike." And this is exactly how the conversation went. I said, "This is Mike." He goes, "Yeah, can you work on my lift gate Saturday?" I was like, "No." And there was silence. He goes, well, when you get to it? I said, about 6 weeks. Okay, thanks.
It's hung up.
Back to work.
Like, stress gone. There we go. Yeah. So, Jesus, thank you for the confidence to say no. So
say no.
More times in life we should
We're bringing it back. Yeah. Just say no.
Just say no. Bring it back to 80s commercial. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching tonight or today, whenever it is, in your car, on your jog, riding your bike, whatever you do out there. Love Jesus, love people. Come see us at Mount Zion, 1045 for church, 9:30 for life groups. There's a spot for everyone. We're just trying to reach the community with the gospel. So if you're looking for a place to be, this would be the place, and we would be happy to have you. So God bless. We'll see you guys next week.